Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. May the peace, love, and blessings of God be upon you. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of God, the most loving, the most kind. Today we are going to look at 3 ways to pray more consistently. Now, we've all been there. Times when you feel really in the zone, you're praying on time, consistently, keeping your daily spiritual practices, reading the Quran frequently, and feeling the kind of spiritual buzz. And we've all also experienced times when you miss more and more prayers. You know, weeks, months, even years can go by when you don't even look at the Quran. And sometimes when that happens, you might feel kind of empty, and you might want to get back into it. And with Ramadan coming up as I record this video, why not today? So, how do you turn it all around? You can turn it all around right now. There are 3 rules you need to follow if you want to upgrade your life with prayer or the daily spiritual practice. These 3 rules, I guarantee they will serve you forever. And they'll give you a sense of peace and freedom instead of guilt and stress. Okay, are you ready? Here we go. The 3 rules to pray more consistently. Number 1, keep your daily practice. 2, no guilt. 3, no guilt. These are the 3 keys to praying more consistently. So let's examine them one by one. Number 1, keep your daily practice. Now, consider each prayer or each spiritual practice a life upgrade. And do your best to make your daily spiritual practice or prayer happen every day. Just do your best to make it happen. Even if it's been a long time since it's happened, do your best to make it happen today. And it doesn't matter how many days or weeks or months have passed. You can start right now. You can start today. Start with just one prayer, especially if you haven't done any praying or you haven't kept this practice in a long time. Start with just one, all right? If you try starting with 5 prayers and an hour of Quran and an hour of meditation and 3 hours of reading, then you might fall flat on your face. So start with something small that you know that you can do consistently every day, even if it's just a very small amount. So start with one prayer, maybe the morning Fajr prayer, or at night you could do the Isha prayer. But make sure that when you start it and make that decision to start, make it happen daily. Okay, so that's why the evening or the morning one is easy, because it can just be built into your daily routine. And finally, don't expect it to be perfect. Just get started. Just do it. Sometimes I think we kind of freak ourselves out by thinking, oh, when I start praying, it's got to be this amazing, like, spiritual feeling of God in my heart and things like that. And you know what? Sometimes you'll get those amazing spiritual feelings. But don't let that determine whether or not you're going to pray. Pray anyway. There's a lot to be learned and discovered during prayer, even if it doesn't give you what you think it will or hope it will. And the second rule is no guilt. Just as prayer upgrades your life, guilt downgrades your life. Imagine that it's like a linear line. You start at 0, and when you decide to do a prayer and you actually do the prayer, it upgrades your life. So maybe you get like, your life upgrades to plus 10. But then, if you feel guilty about missing that prayer, you don't stay at 0, it sends you all the way down into the negative numbers. And so if you have a rule that I should pray 5 times a day, and then every time you miss a prayer, you feel guilty about it, you're just going more and more into the negative. And eventually you'll find a point where you're so into the negative that you don't even want to think about prayer or guilt or anything. Because if you think about prayer, you'll think about all the prayers you missed, then you just feel guilty. So forget about all that. Guilt is a life downgrade. Guilt is a negative emotion, and it's natural, but it's not helpful. And it's irrational by its very nature. I mean, by the time you feel guilt, it's too late. the thing's already done and dusted. You know, if you miss a prayer, you can feel guilt, but that's too late. It's not going to make you go back in time to make the prayer. Rule number 3, no guilt. So we're going to continue down this road. Guilt does not help you pray more. If guilt helped you pray more, you'd already be praying 5 times a day. The moment you notice it, give yourself permission to let the guilt go. The moment you notice, oh, I'm feeling kind of guilty because I missed my prayer, let the guilt go. Because it doesn't help you pray more. Guilt doesn't make you a better person, doesn't make you a better Muslim. It doesn't tell you anything about how good or bad you are. If you let it go, nothing bad happens. If anything, if you let the feeling of guilt go, you're more likely to start praying more. And so, and think about it. Guilt is an emotion, and like all emotions, like all feelings, guilt does not tell you about your prayers. It doesn't tell you about how good or bad you are. It doesn't tell you about how good of a Muslim you are. The only thing guilt tells you, the only thing a feeling tells you, is what's going on in your thought in this moment. And it's completely okay to let it go. So this has been a video from Quran for Busy People as part of the Taqwa Tuesday series. If you want to access the life-changing power of the Quran, visit www.quranforbusypeople.com. This has been Mamoon Yusuf. Thank you for your time. Peace, love, and blessings.